Joining me now with more is Greg Ramm. He's Vice President for Humanitarian Response with the aid group Save the Children. We've seen this all too many times, these images. They're very powerful. There's public outcry, and then we see a couple of news cycles, people move into a different direction, and we don't really see any movement. Do you think that this image can have that powerful effect that you want to see, and what's it going to take?
Well, we have seen around the world how powerful images do change hearts and minds. They actually change political action. Last year, we saw the image of that 3-year-old child, Alan Kurdi, Syrian child, washed up on the beach of Turkey. And it changed hearts and minds. It opened homes and countries to refugees. Today, we're calling for a ceasefire to end the violence that is targeting children. There is hope that an image of the suffering of children, so visible in that photo, could actually change hearts and minds, could help bring about the ceasefire that is so desperately needed.
And it's not just homes. We know that hospitals have been hit. Talk to me, give me kind of, if you will, the scope. What are we seeing? How much of a humanitarian crisis are we seeing?
Well, one of the things that's most extraordinary is that children and hospitals and schools are not just collateral damage. They're being targeted through this. Save the Children supports clinics and mobile clinics, stationary clinics, and a maternity hospital in northwest Syria. That hospital, maternity hospital, was bombed just a few days ago. 2 men lost their lives, newborns in incubators knocked to the ground. So that's the extraordinary bit. We have 500,000 people living in besieged areas in northwest Syria. They can't get medical supplies, they can't get food. The scale of the crisis there is enormous, and the suffering of children is particularly acute.
What struck you with this image? I know you're with Save the Children. I know you were a school teacher years ago. You've been around kids for years. And when we look at this image, I mean, it's almost the fact that the kid looks like he's in shock. He's moving and touching his head. What is it that's so powerful about this image, do you think?
I think it shows that even if you survive a bombing, the trauma suffered by children in war is extraordinary. Children are the first victims of war. So we know that hundreds of thousands of children have lost their lives. But many others, millions of others, have lost their parents, have lost their schools, don't have access to health care. And it's fascinating how just the picture, the image of a suffering child, can just remind the world of the cost of war, and hopefully can call us to action, to bring about a ceasefire, and then to bring aid and assistance to those who are in need. These besieged areas, casualties can't get out. Medical supplies can't get in, food can't get in. To be a parent, I'm a parent, to be a parent of children where they're sick, they can't get help, where there's no food to eat, it's just simply not acceptable. And a ceasefire that the world is calling for is what could offer some hope to these children.
And Save the Children isn't just there in Syria. I know that you're working in Lebanon and a number of other areas, and what we fail to recognize, or what we forget about at times, is just the full scale of this, that it shifts. It's not just Syria, it crosses into Europe. There's so many refugees, children hurting all around the world as a result of this. If there was a message that you could give to John Kerry or Sergei Lavrov or any of the players, what would it be?
First, think about the children. Think about what they need and what peace can bring. The suffering will not end without peace, and we have to think about those children. Secondly, to those leaders and to the people of the world, provide assistance. People need humanitarian assistance. They need food, they need health care, they need education. And so through groups like Save the Children and others, people can also offer support to bring assistance to those who have had to flee this horrible violence.
And I guess the message to our viewers as well is reach out and help if they can as well.
Sure, go to SaveTheChildren.org. Go to those who are helping Syrian refugees around the world, and to Save the Children, who's helping people inside Syria get their basic needs met.
Greg Ramm, thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Sure.